Okay, we are live, it says. And good afternoon, everybody. And now we're have hi everybody on YouTube and on Twitter, on X. Um, Type in the chat just to let me know that. Oh, I see Nanda there. Hey, Nanda. There's the architect of our cheat card. It just type so YouTube is typing in, so I know YouTube is live, and I'm going to assume X is live. Maybe I don't have any people wanting to watch it. I'm sure we do. And so, and my brother Binkus is going to do, my belly button brother, in real life brother, is going to be doing his scalping. I'll be throwing in gamma commentary here or there, but this is going to be a regular feature once we get it figured out. I'm old, he's older,
I'm
so
I'm
the
I'm,
tech,
I'm, I'm very old.
right? So he's not 80 yet, so he's not that old.
Uh,
And so between us, the technology is dumb and dumber, but we managed to get this set up. So anyway, where are we? Quick recap of where we are. Um, this is the this is the trading view indicator that the trading view string, not indicator, that that subscribers to my Substack get. And what it is my daily roadmap, just put out in a nice clean indicator form, so I can just see where the levels are. And so, just quick recap of where we are, and then Binkus will tell us where we're going in the next minute. He's got a very fine-tuned roadmap. My GPS is not that fine-tuned. Um, in the overnight session, we had some kind of something or other where no one could really find anything. Rumors of Trump, Xi, whatever, that the China talks was going to be good. We popped up to this 60-30. We pulled back. Uh, we opened then in the pre-market when I started writing at 6, 7 a.m. We were kind of farting around at 6:05, 6:10, and then we opened up and it followed the gamma roadmap as if it was a GPS because it is, and we kind of went up right to where we're supposed to stop at 25. The people in my subscriber chat were like targeting it like uh, like snipers, and that's kind of where we are now. I'm not sure what happened here. I was busy messing around with technology or something. Wow, looks like a tweet. Who knows what? But whatever it was, we undercut to where 6,000. Holy moly! It says magnet there. Go figure. We cut down to 60 to 6,000 magnet and bounced. Now I'm going to switch to my screen share to options depth. And Bart, you can pay attention to this as a tutorial on how to do the screen share thing. So I have it on entire screen. So I just go down to my window thing here. I see what my next screen is. I click the screen, and that's whatever shows up on the screen share. Okay, you guys didn't hear that. So where are so the positioning is basically the same as it was in the morning in terms of market maker positions. The only thing that's changed is the relationship of spot or price to those positions. So let me do a quick change here. Okay, so where are we? So we started off in the morning session from a gamma point of view somewhere right around 6:05. We start out right here, 6:5, 6:10. Customer long, customer short, market maker long, support, market makers buying the dip, but selling as we go up to flatten. But to counterbalance that, we have these market makers short magnets pulling us up. So we had these magnets pulling us up to 20, which is exactly what happened. And then we have this short stuff over here, which actually is a 60-25 short put. It doesn't really matter though. So it's market makers short delta there. And that's where we stall. And this is where we're stalling and we're still stalling. This is customer position, not gamma. Gamma, the bar, the size of the bars will change depending on the distance of spot, of price, and the time till expiration. If by a miracle we can get through here, we have 60-50 calls on top. Market makers, a short-term customer was long. Now, there were about 4,000 at the open, so couple thousand are gone. That doesn't mean that the person that bought them sold them. It means you and me and everybody else watching could have bought a few thousand of them and still have them in inventory. We didn't get rid of them yet. Okay, so now I'm just going to go down here, quick view, then I'm going to turn it over to Binkus in a minute. So here's the heat map, and kind of here's where the stall area is out in time. So gamma is time dependent, and so we're just going to kind of float around here. Right now, we're just in a free floating supportive zone. Here's kind of a, if we go down, the hedging should take us to this edge. And here's kind of one potential pin if we break down. Had I seen that earlier, I might have bought a fly with the center here. I still might. We'll see. And here's the setup here. Here's the action on those 60-50 calls. And that's basically what's going on here. So that's the landscape here, right now. I'm going to look at market maker exposure real fast. And this is options depth. I'm also going to share mental Q with you guys. I'm going to put some links in if you're interested in subscribing to them or seeing what their products are. I plan to have other people on here doing streams with me. I got Vol Signals to agree to do something on Sunday at 10:30. Friday at 10:30. Let's see what happens with that. So let's look at Charm real quick for fun for the pin. It's noon now. The Charm will start kicking in a little sooner here. So here's the 60-50 call area. Here's the suppressive area. This color means suppressive for now. And so here's kind of the zone that we should float in unless we get caught down here. But this is just Charm, so the strength becomes stronger as time passes. One thing we know for sure is time is going to pass. We don't know where spot is going to be, where SPX is going to be, but we know these options are going to stay there, and the delta is going to either decay up or down. And so one potential pinning spot in here. Another spot, we have this wide zone, 15 to 25-ish. And then we have another pin right below here at 6,000. And then if by some miracle we get over 60-50, then these 60-50 calls that are now, I'm just going to guess, 10-15 delta. Binkus, can you take a look at what the delta on the 60-50 calls, 0 DTE are? If whatever delta these are,
The 60 calls are 13 delta.
13 delta, okay. Not a lot of delta, but enough, especially because there's a lot of them. But if we're at 60-35 and there it's 15-20 delta, and we get up here and suddenly they become a 1 delta or 50 delta, then suddenly we get that whoosh up at the end of the day. So one potential pin, lotto doubtful, kind of a common sense pin, another common sense pin, another lotto down there. With that, let me just go one more thing. You see, Binkus? I go down to my bottom, the chef down here.
I'm gonna get ready to get my show on the road.
I'm just going to show them mental Q in a minute. Then when you talk, I'm going to put links in the chat. Okay, so here's my secret sauce. It's not really a secret sauce. It's my roadmap, and ChatGPT writes the numbers in a way that TradingView could read them. I just take my numbers and I say, here, make it an indicator. Make it a string. Technically, it's a string. So let's take a look at mental Q secret sauce, which is a lot fancier than mine. Update the script. Okay, so I just want to show you what they got going on here. This is the 0 DTE level where things got to go, where the bottom is, and we kind of bottomed out right near there. We didn't even get there. And then the numbers, Gex 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, was the strength of that level. And you see we're in this zone where there's a lot of gamma now. To find out the exact granularity of what the position is, what is it suppressive or supportive, I like using other things because I want to know exactly, because that's who I am. But you could kind of common sense says this is typically the stall zone. And so there's the stall at 30, and then there's that 60-50 round number. And then if we get past the 60-50, we got all this, and here's the max expected move. And I'm just going to do one more thing so I can toot my own horn, and then I'm turning it over to you. Okay. And the other thing is Tesla. Yesterday in the morning, we talked about a Tesla trade, and in the AM before the open broadcast, and Tesla was farting around there 20.95. We said over 300 the gamma flips. The puts get out of the money. We have, I'm not going to go into all the details on that, and then we could run. We said 20 was the convexity magnet, and that's where we went. We did a trade. I personally did it. I modeled it for myself. I put it in. It's making me some gelt. Options gelt is the name of the game. And if people did it, that's not investment advice, just a bunch of traders bullshitting online. Okay, with that, I'm going to relinquish the stage to my brother. Oh, he's already on the stage. I'm going to mute myself so I can do whatever, but trust me, I'll be back.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We just missed a good trade. We just missed the 630 put. We saw it at 1180, and now it hit at 1230. That was $50 in less than a minute. But let me show you how that trade evolved, and let me give you an idea of how I do it. So what you're looking right now is from convex value, which is what I like to use. This magenta pink line is delta. So when deltas go up, people are buying usually. When deltas go down, people are selling. The other important line is this bright lean green line, this lime green line, which is volatility. In general, when volatility goes up and delta goes down, you buy. Vice versa, when volatility goes down and delta goes up, you buy. The white line that we're looking at here is price. This green line is call, buy, sell. And this is put, buy, sell. They're buying a bunch of puts all of a sudden. So that's one thing I look at. And I find this very helpful for instantaneous trading. So you can see we just went up a lot before. Look what happened. The deltas suddenly just went all the way up and the volatility went down. So we were in a clear bullish phase for a while. Now it looks like deltas are sort of staying still to down and vol is trying to go up. So I'm just giving you a macro picture of how I look at this. Now let me, again, I'm not that skilled with this stop screen. And then I'm going to show you my other screen. You have to bear with me, folks. I'm going to get better at this. Do you guys see the screen? Paul, can they see my TradeStation screen?
Nope, just to you. You didn't, I don't know what you didn't.
Share screen, window. Oh, I got it. Okay.
There you go. Like a pro.
All right. So this is the other thing I look at, and this is very, very helpful. What this is the value of the SPX, and this is VIX. So I'm looking at VIX, and I'm looking at a 30-second, a 1 minute, and I think that's a 5 minute. It's so small here on my screen. This is a five. Yeah, this is a 5 minute. And what I like to see, what I tend to find helpful is we're in that 11:30 to 1:30, 2 o'clock chop zone, which is a great scalping zone because things sort of go back and forth. Unless we're in a really strong trend day where we're just flying in one direction or another, if we're chopping around, you probably can take a position, and if you cost average and wait, you're going to make money. But let me show you what I mean. So when we go all the way up here, we're very overbought. I mean, we're buying and buying, and that coincides with the selling. Like here, where was the maximum amount of selling. We were very oversold. And usually, like everything else, life is an oscillator. There's fractal movements in the market. So what we want to wait for is we look for a signal. Like a signal here would have been we were very oversold, and as we start going back up, you could probably, and if the deltas and the volatility also show that it made sense, you probably would go higher. So so right around here, you could have bought a call, and right around here where you saw you were peaking, that wouldn't have been a great signal to buy a put. So we look at both, and the other thing that I find extremely important is this VIX, because this is another way of I'm looking at instantaneous volatility. And as you can see, I have a 5-period moving average on a 30-second VIX. And again, I'm seeing if the VIX is going up or the VIX is going down a lot. So that's how I like to look at things on an instantaneous trading level. Now let's see if there are any trades. So I'm going to minimize this. I'm looking at the deltas are going down. The volatility is flat. You see here, the vol is going down. Are you guys able to see my cursor?
Let me. I wasn't looking. I was typing. Yeah, your cursor is fine.
Okay, so now you see volatility is going down. So there's really not a trade here. Though I'm saying you probably could buy a put because so I'd be forcing a trade. Now, sometimes the trades come fast and furious, and sometimes you force a trade. And as all you people know, when you force trades, you lose money. All of a sudden, I see deltas trying to go up. Volatility is also trying to go up. But from my 40 or 50 years of experience trading, I'm saying I don't want to force a trade, guys. I want to trade for you folks, but I think you could buy. Let's just see what would happen. Let's look at that 630 put again, which is now 1160. So I don't think you could buy it yet. There's no trade, guys. There's no trade. Now, Paul's levels with his gamma stuff comes in handy. There's a natural resistance level or a natural support level. You could enter it. You could enter at support or resistance if you're there. But right now, just because we are doing this and I wanted to provide some action, there is no action. So I would begin the deltas of the volatility. Let's see what's going on here. It's flat. It's flat. I'm expecting the next move to be lower. I really am, though I'm not seeing it. Now, we all have our own prejudices.
You know you're sharing the Kirk Northington screen, not the other screen, right?
Right. Now, let me share the other screen. Stop. Present. Entire screen. Okay. So here's what's going on. This is deltas. It's sort of going. We had that little drop. Now it's going up, and vol is sort of stuck here. As soon as this starts moving up, you could probably buy a put. We're waiting for this to move up. This is sort of staying. We're a very flat zone right now. I still have my eye on the 60-30. My style is usually buying in the money, and I like to buy 60 deltas or as close to 60 deltas. So right now, notice that we went up a bit. The deltas are just going up. See that, guys? The delta went up, and the volatility dropped. And the price, this is price. It's sort of sitting in no man's. So any trade you would have taken here would be frustration. You're waiting for a little bit of drama. And it's been boring enough for the last few minutes that something is bound to happen. And, just because I wanted to show you guys a trade, it's like driving me crazy. There's nothing going on here. Really outrageous. I'm still.
And in the gamma world, we would expect nothing to go on. We're in this vol compression. You're going to scalp 2 or 3 points, which you love because that's all you need buying those 60 deltas.
But there's not even 2 or 3 points here. You notice that? There's like nothing. Look at this. It's like nothing. It's like we're up 19.32. Now we're up 19.49, 19.47, blah, blah, blah.
And so if we can expect some kind of reaction, it's going to be at these gamma reaction zones. So you kind of, okay, you see what your thing is doing, we're going up, and then might we expect a reaction? And so you kind of, and
what did you say, Paul? You had like a zone at about 35, 25?
Yeah, but we're not getting up there. Let me share my screen real quick. Let's think out loud together.
Well, we're going up now. You see, we're just hit it. Look at that.
Yeah. We're over that 25.
Well, look at that. The deltas just went down, but so did the vol.
So Delta's going down, telling us that they're probably doing what? They're probably buying. They're probably maybe closing puts. I don't know. We don't really know. We don't really care. Go ahead.
We don't know. But we went up. That's very unusual. This is very unusual. Seeing deltas go down and vol. What's vol? Vol went down too. Okay. What's the absolute vol now is, wow, we're below 17, 1692. We haven't seen that in a long time. Wow. Again, we're going to get that reversal because we always do. We just that one's going to make us some money. Now the 60-30 puts are now 57 delta. So I would be stalking, again, waiting for it. I'd be stalking the 60-35 puts, which are now 1370, 1380. You know what? I'm in. Let's see. 1370. We just bought the 1370. Just bought the 60-35 put at 1370. And why did I buy it? Because I'm looking for a trade. And I bought it because delta is going down and vol wants to go up. And I think we might get, now it's 1390. So I would try to get out of this at 1450 or better. Let's see if this is really a trade, or I just did this because I was looking for some action to show you guys something. Now it's 1390. Let me refresh this. I think it might be stuck. Sorry, guys. Refresh. Actually, now we're going back up. And now that option is 1310. See, we're still stuck. But since we're not moving that fast, if we went down, the deltas are going down again. Let me get this out of the way. See that? Okay. Now we have that big delta up. Look at that. Now, usually that means what the hell is happening here? We're 1370. We're at the price we entered the trade. Remember, we're looking for 1450.
So people understand. You entered the trade at whatever it was. You bought a 60 delta call. SPX is wiggling, and we're waiting for our exit.
Yeah, we bought a 60-35 put at 1370. We're down $50, but we're going to wait because it's not a high intensity day. Now that thing is down $100. Now I have found, unless you're really wrong, and it's not looking good now because of that. Look at this huge delta spike. That is very bullish. So that trade might have been a really bad trade, but I'm going to give it a minute or two. Now, right now, you're down $150 with that trade. Do you cost average? Do you sit there or you wait? Right now, I think you wait. Because when you see these extreme moves, unless there was some news, we're up to 27. We broke 25. So right now it's looking very bullish. We would have been better off buying a call, but we're still not bad. All right, now we're going back down again. All right, but we're now, what's happening here? This really is not making a lot of sense.
Well, it makes sense from a gamma point of view as we get kind of stuck in that zone.
Right, but why did we go up all of a sudden?
Well, I wasn't really watching price that much, but once we got over that 25, remember the 60-25 was that stall resistance level. We got into that next tier of positive gamma. Let me just kind of show this to folks, like how I would make sense of what's going on.
Okay.
And, even I'm not a big scalper, but when I scalp, I kind of give it a little more than a minute. I might scalp for a half hour or 15 minutes.
We're still in this trade, but honestly, unless you have the patience to cost average and wait, right now the trade is looking like a loser.
Okay, so to answer your question, a viewer just said some nonsense hitting the wire about China talks.
All right, so
so hold on. So China Schmina, let's get back to what's going on here.
But again, in this world of news flashes, when you see that sudden move, or you saw that like huge delta go up, it's probably news.
Okay, so from a gamma point of view, what happened? We got into that trade. We were going up here, and we broke that 60-25-30 area, and we kind of fought through a little bit of this, but there's too much stuff stalling it, so we should mean revert. However, the turd in the woodpile is we got this support over here at 25. So could get your 2 or 3 point mean reversion scalp, and with a possible stall right below 25. Now, what happened more granularly, I'm trying to look over here in the. I don't really see anything big happening here, so it must have been in the IV space. What happened?
Yeah, Ivory dropped. Ivory
Okay, so
dropped.
something happened in the IV space. So what that kind of sort of means is that dealers wanted to get rid of something. You know, they dropped the offer to get rid of something to make IV go down. Could have been a big position, could have been whatever. They dropped it. IV went down. We got a spike in the micro granular world of, what's going on back there, maybe. And Vol Sigs will be on Friday, can walk us through the minutia of that. But just getting back over here, and then I'll turn it back over to you. When I'm looking at here, I don't see big changes. I see some changes here. The little tail show what was there before. It looks like there's, there's some closing here, but it looks like we're still stuck here. We're still stuck here.
So would
So
you,
we can go up 2, 3 points. We can go down 2, 3 points. You know.
so Paul, would you say that 30 we could hit a resistance?
So 30 will be hard to get over.
Okay, so I'm gonna be willing to bet that we turn around near 30. So right now that option that we bought for 1370 is actually $12. And we're at 28 and change. So we might cost average. Again, my usual cost average philosophy is when I buy one, the next time I buy two. So I have 3 contracts. But right now, I don't like, really, this trade is a loser because if I look at this,
From a gamma point of view, we should, in theory, go up as the gamma of those long calls over there increases through time. So we're fine with this. There's countervailing forces.
right, because again, to show you the deltas keep a straight line up, volatility drop like a rocket. This is bullish until proven otherwise. This magenta pink line has to start dropping, and this bright green vol has to shoot up. Let me go to my overboard oversold. Let me just share my screen. Um, Present, hopefully. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Entire screen. Screen 2. Share.
Now that 60/50 is now going up to a 15 delta. What was it before? It was like a 8 or 9 delta. So those deltas are pulling up. That's more gamma that the market maker hedges in that direction. So you're fighting through that.
Okay, look at this. So here we are. Look at how our volatility is dying. So we're well below the 5-period moving average. We are we're not as overboard as I thought. Look at this. We're just over here. If we get sold enough, if we drop below this and see our way going back up here, we could be looking for the sell signal. But we don't have it. Look, see, we're still going up on the 1-minute chart. The 30-second chart is like nothing. This is like nothing. It's unbelievable. This is like for a day for a demonstration. This is probably the worst trading day I've seen in a long time. Again, the sell will be if this red line goes below here, and then all of a sudden we start going back. Now we're beginning to go down a little. I'm looking at my other screen and nothing's happening. The deltas are sort of flat up, still up. Now I just see vol starting to go up a little bit. Notice right here, vol is beginning to approach its 5-period moving average. We just got, all right, let's buy 2 more at $12. So we did it. So 2 more at 12. So our cost average is 12 plus 12 plus 1370 plus divided by 3 equals, so it's 1256. So we'll try to get out for 1310 or better. So course average was 1256. 1256 times 3. Was that stupid? We're just playing today, all right? We're just seeing how this works out. We want to see this guy go down. We want to see this guy go up. And we want to see this volatility start moving up. If I share my other screen, so you see that we're really still in no man's land. We didn't really cross below it, so it wasn't really a good signal, but we took it anyway. As I said, it really doesn't look like someone's writing here. I don't. I have convex value. Don't use it.
That's me. I'm using the people as you do it.
Oh.
If there's a question for you, I'll put it up there and I'll prompt you.
It sort of covers the whole screen.
Oh, okay. On mine, it just shows like a little bit on the bottom. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I apologize to all my followers and people that came here that it's been such a unproductive trading day. But that's what happens. You know, you got to trade the market you have. We still have 3 of those puts, the 35s, and maybe once we get to 30, we'll hit that resistance. But right now, there's no signs of it.
Right now, the deltas are creeping up in the 60-50 calls, and the 60-50 calls are just dragging us up.
Yeah.
They're just dragging us up. And nothing, you know, part of my road, it was, now, hold on. Just, let me toot my own horn for a second. Go ahead. You can talk for a minute while I find something to toot my own horn. Go ahead.
I'm going to show you something that I like to toot my horn with. When I do my levels, I base my 130 levels on the 5-minute chart. And it's usually the extreme here and the extreme there. And I find that a 2-minute chart is good for an hour. So if I don't have it on this screen, but I'll give you the numbers for your interest. So on a 2-minute chart, I would say for the next hour, you could expect a high of 60.33, give or take, and a low of 60.17, 16.18. So for credit spread sellers, if you wanted to, and I wouldn't because it's still that time of the day where things can move fast, maybe you sell we're close to the top of the range. So unless we break through, you could sell yourself the 40, which I sold earlier. You could sell a 40 put spread. But wait a minute, where we're going? All right, we're starting to go down. Okay, 1256 was our price, and now we're at 1170.
Okay, so from the morning note, if SPX closed 60.20 above the chop zone, which is on the indicator, first test is 25 where we were at transition zone. Dealer selling gradually. If 60.25 holds, next leg is 60.25, 60.35, which was the top of the expected move. And then, actually, that's an old one from yesterday. Never mind. Let me get that. Let me find, okay. Where's the one from today? I'll find the one from today. Go ahead.
No, we were going down a little bit. Now we're stabilized. As I said, it's one of those kind of days. No, what I was saying is that people that have are willing to take a shot, you could think of selling the 60-40, 60-40. Let's just see what that is. A 60-40, 60-60 call spread. It's 2.25. Now it's 228. You sell that for $2.25 to try to buy it back at $1, maybe. But anyway, that'd be something for a nimble trader. Where's our 35s? Our 35s are still 1150, and our cost average is 1256. Now it's 1170. Now it's 11. We're going to try to get out of those for over $13 or better. And is anything cooperating with us?
Okay, here we go.
No.
Why is it not showing?
No.
I'm gonna have to do it this way. I want to screen share something for me. Are you still in the middle of the trade, or can I screen share?
I mean, I'll announce that trade if it happens. I'm not gonna add more. And I'm not gonna throw in the tally. Okay. We're still, so our position now, again, this is paper trading for today. We're long 3 of the 60-35 puts at an average price of $12.56. We're looking for something over $13. It's too early to throw in the towel, though some people would. I'm sitting with it. Though I have to admit, we're in a very bullish situation. And I'll let you take over now, Paul. I'll be back in a minute, okay?
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to just leave for a minute or two. But I'll be
Okay. Okay. So I don't know if you can see this. This was from my morning note in the roadmap. If SPX clears, I tried putting it in the chat. I don't know why it didn't show up. If SPX clears 60-20 above chop, first has 60-25 transition, charm starts the king. If we hold 25, next leg, 35, the top of the expected move. Why does it say IC level? Son of a bitch. I can't find the one I did today. Let me find it in, well, you know what? We don't have to find the daily note. As you can see, like I said, I'm not organized. Any of my subscribers have the one from today?
I'm back.
Okay, so hold on. All right, so here we are. Top of the chop zone, top of the expected move, and here's where we're stalling, still stalling at 30. Here's the top of the straddle. So that was the wrong one I put in there. I couldn't find the note from today. I could have copied and pasted something, the one from yesterday in there. And here's where we're stalling. What are you long?
35 puts.
35 put. So 35 put at 60 delta, you need,
It's now
probably 25-ish, 26 would make you profitable.
It's a 67 delta now, and it's at $12. And remember, our cost average was $12.56. We're looking for something over 13. So let's just say, if I were doing this in the real world, I would put a 1320 limit good till cancel order on it. So in case we get a wash, I don't miss it. But sometimes you get a second to make these trades. You can always change your trade. So again, if I would do it for myself, I would actually add 2 more. Son of a bitch, it just doesn't. Every time you're going down, we go back up again.
Yeah, well, that's the gamma, and we're floating in positive gamma.
But shouldn't we start reversing soon?
No, because we're stuck in positive gamma above us and below us. So we reverse a point, then we reverse a point the other way.
Right. Yeah.
He and I have this discussion all the time off screen. I'm looking at the larger gamma landscape. He's looking at the micro landscape. And usually they don't conflict, but once in a while, one overshoots the other.
Yeah, right now they're not conflicting. The The volatility is dead in the water. The deltas are up. And we're sort of, we go a half a point or a point up or down. It's the worst possible day for trading. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's a great iron condor day, unless we break out, there's going to be action after 2:30. Either we're going to rock it up or we're going to fall apart.
Okay, and so you see here's the cheat card. We're in this zone and now we're heading in here and kind of getting into this supportive area.
We just got to get back to, we got to just.
We could get back to 25, maybe,
Yeah. All right, the 35 puts are now 64 delta and they're $11. But I'm not seeing any confirmation. I'm just not seeing it. Let me share my screen, guys, and you'll see what I mean. Let me look.
And I'm not seeing anything in the gamma landscape to indicate, to help you, so to speak. So here, let's take a look at this and I'll give it back to you. Okay, so we got the 60-25 supportive. This is customer short puts. This is short puts, but doesn't matter because market maker have that delta. So that's what this is. Market makers are long these puts because customers are short. 60-25s they sold. What do they care? And then we have all this sold stuff here. So we get pulled down here. But then now if these people close this, then you're a genius. If this starts to close, we have this big void down here. So there is certainly potential for, if this fails, we have a magnet here to 20 and we have a void back down to 05. That might be later in the day. We don't know what's going to happen with vol, but right now this is what we're stuck in.
There's also a 3-year bond auction at 1 o'clock. Though that's
3-year auction nobody cares about.
But you know what? If the auction goes terrible, that could really hurt.
Right, and it might be enough for the algos to give you a wiggle that doesn't matter.
Right, because that's it. So, you guys should always remember the bond auction, especially in this era of watching interest rates like a hawk, are very key. The other thing is, so let me just share the screen with you guys. You see what I mean? This is bullish, like unbelievable. The deltas are up, the volatility is down, and this is just, you really need to see this guy start to go up, but the price is dropping a little. Is vol beginning to go up a little? Oh, wait a minute, we got a little, are we going to get there? Yeah, look at this. All right, so we have them. You know what? You got to act 2 more at 11.20. So 11.20 plus 11.20 plus, what do we buy the other ones at?
So you'll tell us your average.
I forgot what would be the other one. All right. I didn't write down what we bought the other ones for, because I've been, let's forget it. We're stuck with the 3 at 12.56 because this is sort of, we're just playing here. You know what? Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening.
And those 60-50s, they're scary. I put that in my morning note. I'd be careful at 60-50.
You'd be careful. You'd want to buy them, Paul?
The lotto trade was a target at 60-50 when we were at 60, whatever we were, like at 60, 15, 20, and if you had bought a 60, a fly, or forget a fly, get something normal, like a 60, 25, 60, 50 call or a 35, 45 call, you've gotten sucked up real nicely.
Yeah. Right now.
U.S. talks on break We'll continue at 8 p.m. There's been some China bullshit going on. And I think they're pumping it, spinning it kind of hopeful.
Yeah, well, we're approaching the bond auction. So let's wait till 1 o'clock. Unfortunately, I don't remember what we bought those extra two at, so I can't do an honest cost average, but it's dropping like a rocket. So people that really, have stop losses would probably get out of that 35 put and it's a loser. You probably got out at 10 or 10 and change. Now it's 960. Though again, it's not hopeless, but it's looking pretty bad. Again, look at this. This is bullish. Up, up, down, down. You see that? Now vol is giving a little creep up. And we're at 20. We hit 30 and now we're 29. Back up above 30. Yeah, Paul, you might be right. We might creep up to 35 before we get it. You know? Let me look at my overbought oversold thing for a second. See where we are with that. Stop screen. So, touch screen. And let me just minimize this so I can see it better on my own. Okay, look at this. So we have right here we went below. Now, if we can start going up here, the puts might make. Look at this. Has been the recent level of the calls of buying. Usually, in the last since 1230, we haven't really exceeded this level up here.
It's a trend day. It's a trend day.
No. A real trend day is you see, like very sharp things. And like on the 5-minute chart, it really looks like a trend. But so what we're looking for is now we just look at that. We just went. Now, will this turn down?
Nope.
Or is it going to keep going up? What's doing with volatility?
It's supposed to keep going up. It's supposed to keep going up.
Volatility is now above its 5-period moving average. See, if I were playing, I would have bought 2 more puts. But again, since I didn't write down, but those puts are dying now. Now they're 930, 920.
Yeah, and if you just see the screen, we're just going through one level to level. Now we have this level 4, which is even a weaker level than the one we went through. Top of the weekly straddle is here. That was last Friday. That's maybe the next place where we stall. And then there's clean air here. The deltas on those 60, 50s, are going. What's going on with IV? VIX is a teenager. Again, VIX was 17 and change in the morning, and it's just dropping, dropping, dropping. So.
But this is interesting. This is the first sign of negativity. Now it's not. You see, we've sort of now. This is what we haven't exceeded. Let's see if we exceed it. And what's it doing? It's gone. And these are also these lines up here. These dotted lines. These are sort of resistance and support lines. So on the 1-minute chart, about 32, we shouldn't break that. Doesn't mean we can't. We shouldn't. But it's definitely bullish. There's nothing bearish here at all. Honestly, it's bullish. You should have bought a call. Should have bought the 20. Wait a minute. Look at that. He's turning down. This guy's turning up. Now those puts that were $9 are now $9.70. Is this the beginning of the turnaround? I know we were probably wrong. I said if you're really managing your money, you'd have probably gotten out of that trade. I don't. I don't. I won't give up. Okay, let me put it to you this way: between 11:30 and 2:30, or between 11:30 and 2, unless you have a strong trend, you can keep it alive. Now, you can also have during this time hedge yourself and board a call too. Doesn't mean you have to have only one trade going on. But right now, I wouldn't buy a call. I'll tell you why. Because of this. The volatility just crossed above the moving average. We have this starting to go down a little bit. And you got a bond auction in 3 minutes. So why should I jump in front of a freight train? The bond auction, though it's only a 3-year auction, may not add up to anything, but it may be a big deal. So I would wait and not enter a trade like 2 or 3 minutes before 1 o'clock when you have a bond auction. Does that make sense, Paul?
I'm sorry. I was my daughter just. So here was from the morning roadmap. The part that gets laid out later above 60-20, test 65. Next path is toward 35. Of course, we can revert in there, but that's kind of what's happening here. So anyway, let me get this off. What were you asking?
I was saying that it's generally not smart to put on a directional trade right before you're having a bond auction, because you never know how it's going to go and how it's going to affect the market. Wait till the bond auction happens and look for the response.
I mean, we're still stalled at 30 now that I'm looking at a chart.
Yeah, we're stuck.
But I mean, 35 is the logical target. Be hard to get through these calls, but that's the logical target. We have GEX 2, 3, 4. We kind of fought our way through it, but now this stuff is kind of becoming supportive. Now, sure, we can pull back into it, but if I want to do the keep hope alive trade, we could. The higher probability is, like you said, really not a great trade right now, one way or the other. But if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably shoot for the 35. Gun to my head.
I have to agree with you. However, what's giving the Bears a bit of hope? Well, we just lost the hope. We had that little VIX spike, and then all of a sudden the VIX dropped again. So honestly, the Bears are hibernating. They don't look like they have much to go on. Usually, when I say that, it just turns on me like a champ.
Now, getting even more quantity, geeky and all that crazy stuff. Nomura in his note and all the other people, we see these 60-50 calls up there as an example of right tail hedges. There's everybody jumped in long. Once we turned off the bottom somewhere, they went into safe big cap tech. We had that crazy rally. Then they kind of repositioned, got out of some of that stuff, got into whatever else they did. But the right tail hedges are still on, and they keep adding them. Everybody knows it's binary, that if there's a Trump deal, if there's some kind of good news, we make new all-time highs. We know that. And if we break, well, then there's a big CTA level at like 5,800, whatever, but we're already hedged there. So forgetting the zero DTE, the macro environment is is dangerous in both directions. It's really dangerous in both directions, and we have the unclench coming, and so people apparently are positioning for until options expiration on clench with the 5,900 puts below us, the calls rather below us. So here, take a look at this. See that red? That's long calls. That's not necessarily zero DTE. That's out in the complex. Long calls are lurking. Out in the complex, long calls are lurking up here. Those are potential magnets. Not saying we're getting there, but that means there's big money bets in big positions for it to be that far out of the money and still red. For it to be that far out of the money is still red. So that's what's going on in the larger macro time frame. Now, if you look below us in the larger macro time frame, we got support. We got blue. We got blue. Blue, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, and right now we're stalling where we're supposed to stall. Okay, so he has his 130 levels. Let me just take a quick peek over here while we're in the neighborhood. So in the morning, I did some zero DTE trades. I did some, sold some calls, sold some. So here's an iron condor that filled. No, that's not. Let me do one from today. What filled from today? So for example, put this one in the morning before the open, looking at doing the daily plan for 75 cents, put in my buy to close, it's gone. Um, let's see what
Paul,
happened. Let's see what happened on the calls. So I put in some calls in the morning at 50 cents, and they're 15 cents now. Even with this crazy move, these would have been gone at 15 cents. And so Uh, so just kind of, doing that. Now that my brother's back, we'll put him back. Oh, he's back on the stage? He is on the stage.
yeah, I
Yeah, okay.
want to show you guys this. I want to show you this. Stop screen. Present share screen. Sorry. Okay. You see, those calls, those puts that were like below $9 got up to 11, and had we cost average, we might have done okay. But look what happened. This volatility, it spiked all the way up, and these deltas started to lose some power. And look at how this price just went down. Now, was that the bond auction? I don't know. Interest rates went up a little bit on the 1 minute chart. The 10-year went up. So if we could find out the results of that bond auction, but that's why I said, even though it looks like a loser trade, this is the time of the day where things can still work out. It's not 3 o'clock. It's not 3:30. I know Paul hates this because he thinks take your losses, blah, blah, blah. I've come back ending up with 15 contracts and making a few $1,000s. I'm not saying it's for everyone, but again, we're in that who the hell knows period of the day. And sometimes the market just runs up. But anyway, that's what we had. We're still looking a little, it's not as bullish as it was because vol is still up there. Price is down. But look what happened. There's no call buying and there's no put buying. Now we're going back up again. And we're really stuck today. I mean, really stuck. Soon, I usually post my levels at 130, which are the end of the day levels, which generally are not breached. I can give you guys a preview. The end of day levels as of now look like they're going to be 60.43 on top, and on the bottom 6,000, about 6,000. So
Okay, um, one of our viewers observed that this price is starting to move down now, and he's looking at 60, 25, 50-ish, which would make sense. 'Cause I haven't pulled up the chart, but that kind of makes sense from where the gamma is. Brad, just type in the chat. Do you get that? Are you using gamma or using price action dome? How are you coming up with the 60, 25, 50? Just curious if you want to type it in while you're doing that. Let me just take a quick milder and option strat. Gotcha. Okay.
So those puts that we bought are now, they hit 1140, now they're 1120. Now we're going back up again.
So 1120, that means that you could get out with a gentleman's loss right now.
Now they're 1070. We just had a little bit of a vol spike. But not, we're at 28 and change. It's a strong day.
It's a strong day. The default, the risk was to the upside, not the downside. The risk was breaking 35 and heading toward 50, not the other way around.
Now let's just, out of interest, let's see how the Microsoft is down a little over $3. Facebook is up 4 and change. IBM is a monster. It's up almost $5. Tesla's up 850. Amazon is flat. Apple is up 84 cents, which blows my mind. Why buy Apple? It's going to turn into applesauce soon, but I've been saying that for the last 20 years. I've been wrong.
Right. You've been saying that since the iPod came out.
Uber's up. I don't know. We have the Dow up 121. And
I'm screen sharing just some of while you're talking. So I'm just going alphabetical order. Amazon is kind of flat. We got ARM. So the semis are doing good. They're buying the semis. You see ARM is going up. Let's see. Salesforce. Salesforce is getting beat up a little bit. Since earnings at 60 level, that's where you sell puts, where I sold puts below it.
Let me take a look at my open.
Oh yeah, Google's having a monster day. I forgot to mention that. Google's having a monster day. I know you like them. They're a real company.
I like Google. Google at least has a P multiple, and it's a real company. It's got YouTube itself is worth the price. Everything else is that call option.
And with us on YouTube now, it's worth even more.
You're telling me? Meanwhile, how many people are watching this poll?
I don't know. I can't check. Nanda, can you tell me how many people are watching? I don't know if it's above. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. That's above my. It might be above my technological pay grade. But let me see.
I really feel bad. It's not a great show because there's not a lot of drama. It's just like a slow melt up without any ups and downs, which are more fun. I mean, this is like the most boring trading day. And up we go. I think you're going to hit that 35 pole.
Huh?
I think we're going to hit the 35.
Yeah, that's what the roadmap said in the morning.
Yep. So let's forget about that 35 point. That was a loser. But is this the time you would enter a call?
Yeah, well, we'll take a look. Show us what your secrets. So now,
okay, the call.
So let me speak for a second. So now, if we go with the idea that
we're going to 35,
that things are bullish, we're looking to stalk calls, not puts. So and we're looking for the stall on the. We're looking for the pullback to get into a call.
All right, so let's talk the 25s. The 60 25s are 68 delta. The 30s are 55 delta. So we're still going straight up. So we're going to look for, again, the 25s. I think we just go into the 25s now. They're 11:30. We just bought it for 11:30. You can't, we're not going to get this call. Buy, single. We got it for 11:30. The 2060 25 calls, we're in at 11:30. We want to get 12. They're out to 12:30 now. Okay. You see, that was $100 done. Okay. Now they're 11:60. So now they're 11:80. You want to put them for $12. They're now 11:90. But that was the trade. I didn't wait for the reversal. We were going straight up, and I would have been out of that already. Okay.
And you had gamma at your back.
I had gamma at my back, and I also had this. Where am I? I also had this. Look at this. Delta going up, volatility dropping like a rocket. That says clear sailing ahead. All right. Doesn't get better than that. This is like just buy the call and don't worry about it. All right. Until you see this pink line starting to go down and a real move in this volatility, you're safe. There's 1190. That call, remember, we got it at 1130. Now it's still 11. Now it's $12, 1220, 1230. It's going to go to 1350. It's going to 35. That it hit 1340. You see, guys? So the trade was to buy the call, which we did. And if you got in at 1230, 1130, now it's 1310, 1340. This was the move. Hope someone.
The trade was to follow the daily plan, which had this all mapped out.
And also,
now we got 60-50 is lurking.
And you also had confirmation with this delta going straight up and the volatility dropping. That told you nothing to worry about.
So that told you that how to surgically time your entry.
Right. So again, now that one is 1380. We bought it for 1130. All right. Now we wait for the reversal. We may not get it.
We're supposed to stall here at 60.35, the top of the weekly straddle, according to the Torah.
So let's look at the puts. So a 60 put is the 40s. The 40s are not $10 now. Did you buy it? Well, look at that. You had a little bit of a VIX go. There it goes. If you bought it at 1040, now it's 1020. Yeah. Now it's 1030. It's 1030. It's still 10. Now it's 1027. It's not a strong trade.
No.
Again.
There you go. You should be out now. No?
No.
I can't tell by your chart how much it's moving.
It's 980. It's not doing anything. It's not doing.
But what did you buy?
I mean, I just only bought the 60/40 put at $10, but that wasn't really a good trade because this is just too strong. You know what I mean? We don't have. Well, we're going up a little. Now it's 10, 11. Okay, out. If you bought it at 10, you could have gotten out at 11, you made $100. All right. So taking the trade there at resistance, you made $100. You had that VIX spike. It showed you we just made $100. We made a few $100 on the calls going up. We would have lost some money on the 35s. So that's the way we have two
And you
points.
see here we got some volume on the on those puts over here. You know, if somebody would have been a bottom ticker, they would have bomb ticked it right here at 22. Where'd you get in?
For which the puts,
Yeah,
$10.
$10. So you didn't quite bomb tick it, but you got it pretty close to the bottom. And here's the VWAP on those puts, $18. So the average price tag of those was $18.
So a lot of losers.
And we're still going up here on the value of those puts. Now let me just do a quick
So now
jump.
now
Let me just jump to one or two more things here. And so on, we have that 30 that we could be heading back to. But, we're stuck in here. The top of the weekly straddle. Now you see, it's the top of the weekly straddle from last week has been capping us. Here was the expected move daily. And now what do we got over here? There's that 30 that we broke over. Now let's take a look at gamma landscape real quick and see what's going on. My screen is freezing a little bit.
volatility is going up, and those puts are now 1150. Actually, getting higher.
Okay, and you see here we're still right here in that. So something happened. 25. There was some action here. You see the little. I don't know if you can see the little tails. I'm gonna have to set one up where people could see more granularly what's going on here. At 25 here, you see the tail here on the blue. So whatever the short market maker, short customer long here was closed. Somebody grabbed the money on the 25s.
So I'm saying right now, I'm front running it. I'm saying that you should sell a 70 call spread for 80. You get 80 cents for it now.
Okay, so now you're doing your custom bands made by Kirk Northington, the author of the book Volatility Trading, or whatever it's called.
Yep, it's 85 cents. So maybe we'll try to get 90.
Well, I'm sorry, so that everybody listening can hear. What were the levels?
The levels aren't official, but we're close. The levels look like 60.45 on top, and they look like 6,001 on the bottom. So let's make it 6,000. So I'd be willing to go for that, selling that call spread, figuring that we're going to fail, that we're not going to get that lotto. Because is this tomorrow's CPI, Paul?
Yep, tomorrow's CPI.
So they're going to be a little
They're front running the CPI. They've been buying IWM bigly. So the whatever you want to call it, smart money, whatever money it is, has been positioned for a good CPI.
Meanwhile, the 60/40 puts are bid. The ask was 1190 on those. The last was 1160. So, and volatility is going up, and that the call spread I wanted to sell for like 90 cents is now 70 cents. Now it's 65 cents. So that was the time to sell that 50-70 call spread. Yeah.
Any questions from anybody? I'm going to go while you're doing that. I'm going to try going to Twitter and see if people are commenting or whatever.
I don't know if anyone's even watching us.
This last count, there were 380 people watching on Twitter.
On Twitter, what about on YouTube? We don't
Only
know.
30.
Only 30. I'm sorry that it was a boring day, but we did get off two good trades, and that 40 put is now 1180. So that was a good trade.
Now it's 504 on Twitter.
And what are we going to look for here? All right, soon we're going to, if you hang with me 5 more minutes and then I'm going to leave, that's my famous 130 levels, which are right 85 to 90% of the time.
Tell them a little bit more about those levels, what they derive from.
Okay, let me get something.
I know what they derive from because I remember when they were invented. Everybody does.
Now, am I going to share my? I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Percent. If I know what I'm doing. Hold on. Dealing with a mouse is also a job. I can't. Stop screen. Can you see me, guys? This is Paul. Can they see me?
Hold on. Yeah, yeah.
So this is what it's based on: volatility based technical analysis by Kirk Northington. It's a whole book. He's got code for TradeStation and code for Metastock, and this is what I use for his volatility. He uses ATR and volatility to determine likely price moves within a certain time period. And I find this to be, I'm going to put this back. I find this to be extremely helpful in, in, I use a 5-minute time frame at 1:30, approximately 1:25 to predict the close. And unless it's an FOMC day, some kind of macro news day, it usually works. And the way you play it is, right now, the projected high level is about 6,045. As we get higher, you have to have the nerves to sell the call spreads. And then when we drop, you buy them back and you start selling the put spreads. So right now, I'm going to get ready for my levels. Again, I like to do them I post them right around now. And the top number is still 45. My snipping tool is horrible. I'm going to send this out to all my paid subscribers on Substack. So if you subscribe to my Substack, you will get my levels at 1:30 and at 3 o'clock. And we're going to start doing 11:30 levels soon, and the various credit spreads to sell, as well as scalps when there are setups. Again, today was not a great day for setups, but we'll see. So I'm going to get myself ready soon for sharing.
Let me answer this person's question. So it's peak positive gamma at 60.50 right now. Actually, the opposite. That's peak negative gamma. And let me share my screen for a minute. This is important for people that aren't in the gamma weeds to understand. So positive or negative gamma, and one of my pet peeves is gamma is local. There's nodes of positive gamma or negative gamma. What's positive gamma? Positive gamma is when we sell something to the market maker and he buys it. So he's long or positive that gamma or that convexity. Doesn't matter if it's a put or a call. If he's longer put, he's positive gamma. If he's short or longer call, he's positive gamma. And the way he gets long is by us selling it to him. So let's go to 60.50, and here's exactly what's going on. What do I got this set to? Okay, position number. Okay, so as of right now, market makers are short gamma at 60.50. They're short convexity at 60.50. Why are they short convexity? Because we, generically, the customers, I'm just going to flip for a second, going to take a second to Dreisach. Customer's position. Let me go calls. I get impatient. I didn't wait for the.
Your
Okay, here we are. Here we are.
your
This is customers' positions. Oh, look at that. Okay, so 60-55 are short, 60-50 are long. So it looks like a debit spread formation. So technically, these are market makers short, customer long.
What are they long, Paul?
This is customer positions. I'm just looking at the calls. The question was, is 60-50 peak positive gamma? And I was saying, no, actually, that's negative gamma. But you see, look at the 60-50s. You see how much was there? They're closing them. They're
Uh,
running away, the cowards, and them in the gelt.
I'm,
Options gelt means that they're taking the gelt.
I'm getting my levels ready for everyone. I'm going to post them to my Substack, and then I'm going to tell you, find folks, what they are.
See here, look over here, 60-50. See the tail? They're closing them. Whoever had them for whatever reason, Vitagatans, they're not doing it. We're already down here. The 25s, the action, whatever action was here is getting closed out. And now we'll see if people are setting up for positioning down lower. And to do that, without looking too closely, remember we talked about these the charm flows, and the charm flows are starting to kick in. I had the charm flow time frames in my AM note. That's just something that I'm experimenting with adding. It takes me forever to fight with ChatGPT or Claude to get it to calculate it, to write the numbers out the way I say. And just in case you're wondering, yes, I use ChatGPT or Claude to do my writing, editing, and laying out. The analysis is my own, like I'm talking through it now. I type it through or talk it through into the AI and then get it to do it right, which it doesn't always do it. More of my time is spending fighting with ChatGPT or Claude than actually doing the work.
Someone's got to do the fighting. I'm I am presently posting for my subscribers on Substack the levels, and I will announce it to you folks as I do it. The levels are on the bottom, 6,003. So let me put that in 6,003, and on top it is 6,046.
Okay, this is important. I want to answer the subscribers' question. It's very important. Forgetting if you subscribe to whoever your subscriber is. As you know, I think options depth for SPX is the creme de la creme. For other things, there's other things. But why does her provider say it's peak positive gamma? Because most gamma providers do something very simplistic. They might have a little bit of secret sauce, but if you just go into the option chain and multiply the open interest by the gamma of those strikes, you can do a drop down menu and see gamma. That's the number they give you. They're not giving you if it's long, if it's short. They don't know, and that's what it is. And that's why you get some of those big mistakes sometime. Why do they do that? I'll tell you why they do that. Aside from the cost of the data, let's put that aside. Once upon a time, when the gamma world was starting, when people started to get hip to the gamma world, Squeeze Metrics wrote a seminal paper called Short is Long, where he basically talked about traditional dealer positioning put on by hedge funds, where what do? They sell calls. So I sell the call to the market maker. The market maker is long gamma there. And they buy puts. Traditional collar positioning in the monthly and the quarterly options expirations. So that's the model and the formula that most people have been using for 5+ years. It's only recently that a few people, how volatility, GetSpot, Mental Q to some extent, Gamma Edge, are trying to tease out more granularly what market makers are long and short, and options depth uses buys their data from the CBOE. So the CBOE knows what's there because the data is tagged. There's no guessing. Okay, 130 levels. Go ahead.
Oh, I just did them. They were, by the way, that 50-70 call spread that would have sold for 80 cents hit 30, now it's 35. So, but the levels are up, and there's 6,003 on the bottom. There's 60.46 on top. It sounds a little scary to me, but it actually may be a number. Yeah, those are the levels. Do I see an iron condor? Do I see some credit spread opportunity here? I would wait for us to get well below 25 to sell the put spread. By the way, that 40 put is now over $14.
So what puts okay? So the one that you bought and that was sucking wind would have been a winner now.
No, but
No. Okay.
actually, I'd have to put it up. I'd have to put up on the chart. Maybe it did something. Let me just do that.
Okay. So while you're doing that, what put are you stalking? Because I'm going to put it on the screen so we can look at it together.
What put am I stalking? Let me see. I would
Put
be.
spread to sell.
Well, let me see what the deltas are doing. I don't know if I'm stalking anything.
No, I'm talking about for your iron condor. You said you're looking to sell.
Iron condor. Okay. I would wait till it gets well below 25, and I would be stalking a 95 because my lower, again, I do my levels, and my rule, which I break sometimes, by the way, is to give myself 5 points of wiggle room above and below my level. So my lower level was 6,003. So you could sell the 6,000, but that's a little too close for comfort. So if I see that the day looks strong, which it sort of does, you might want to do that. But I'd be looking at the 95. So I'd look at a 95.
So I have my screen share. I'm squaring the option chain for people. So the 95 is 30 cents. So it's a good do. Let's take a look at the 6,000 for fun, and a 25 wide, a 20.
Paul, the 95 is 75 cents. What are you talking about? It's not 30 cents.
Huh?
The 95 is 70 cents. Where do you say it's 30 cents?
I hear what you're saying.
The 95 put is 75 cents. Why?
Yeah, I'm talking about the spread.
Well, what spread are you going to do?
I was looking at a 25 or 20 wide. You could go 1,000 wide and get 75 cents. I'm giving people a normal spread that normal people do.
All right.
So a 25 wide is 40 cents.
Well, let's look at the 6,000 then, okay?
Okay, so it's a 6,000.
There's it's as 30 wide is 60 cents. There's not a lot of premium down there.
Right. Which we would expect with IV, where it is.
Yeah, it's tough. You gotta go close. So the other thing I sometimes look at, and I'm going to share my screen. It's another one of my secret sources that works sometimes. Let me share my screen. Sorry. Let me go back to present, share screen, entire screen, window. Okay. I'm looking at what's this, 5-minute chart? It's so hard. Yeah, 5-minute chart. I'm looking at 30 ATR. And this may sound crazy, but I've played around with it. I double the ATR, which right now the ATR is But 5 minute ATR is three and a 3.51. So double, it's about 7 points. So I'm saying in the next half an hour or so, we shouldn't get more than a 7 point move. So let's triple it and just say 10 points. So if you really wanted to, you could sell 10 points above and 10 points below. And we shouldn't move too much above or below that. Now, this is not as valuable as some of the other stuff I use, but this is something else you can do. Put up a 5 minute chart and do a 30 period ATR. That gives you a good sense of the amount we're going to move over the next, half an hour. But getting back to where we were, let me get back to these guys. Am I sharing my?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so what do we have here? On a font on this, it looks like 60-20 or 60-22, between 1623 and 2021 is the lowest we should get in the next few minutes. And that's where I would sell a put spread if we get there. And I would sell a call spread if we get as high as 35. And again, my levels were 46, so I give it 5 extra points to sell a 50 call spread. If we get up to around 35, and I'd sell a 6,000 put spread if we get 20, 23, below 25, I would start thinking about it. I might sell one when we hit 24, 25, and then for us to get a little lower and sell some more. But again, today's a hard day. It just is.
Okay. So what he's saying is rather than do it as an iron condor, which a lot of people are used to doing it, he
Right.
would leg in, which I do also. He would leg in as we go down. If we went down more, he might add. He's more sanguine about the call spread, so he's kind of willing to sell that first and
Right.
maybe add more to it if we go up. He's waiting for a better entry on the puts. He manages a little different than me. When I would put that in, especially these late day trades, I put it in. I put 50% buy to close, and that's it. I don't look back. I don't try to get. If I got 50 cents, 25 cents, I'm gone. I don't care about 20 cents, 15 cents. That's me.
And Doc is right. That's a very, very strategic thing to do. And that's what you should do. However, I hate leaving money on the table. And a lot of these trades, I'm trusting my levels, and I'm saying, let's go for all the money. Though a disciplined trader should do what Doc says. 100% agree with him. I'm just telling you what I like to do. If I end up with, say, we'd sell 5 contracts, I'll say buy 1 or 2 of them back at a certain price, like the 50-60% buyback, and let the other ones go. But this is all up to you and your risk management. Like today, I really think that the 50 is not going to happen. I think my 46 upper band is going to hold, and I wouldn't be surprised if we close around 25 or 30. Just and this is not based on gamma or anything. It's based on just me seeing this market go blah blah blah, up and down. And I do think people are going to get nervous about CPI and buy some puts towards the close, and I'll bring us down. So now we're around 25. Where were those 35? Those 35 calls that we're losing now are actually, the price was 12.56, and now they're 12.10, 12.30. Are those the threes or three? Anyway, it's a very, very slow day. But
And so here we are. That's why take people back to the gamma world for a second. Top of the daily expected move, 60.25. You know, in the gamma landscape, we're kind of, it's 140. It's a little bit early to look for a fly for the pin. Let's see what the mentor Q levels look like. Let's just do the roadmap for a second. It's a nice, easy way to visualize stuff. Where's the roadmap? You think I know how to do it? Here, create roadmap. Here we go. So it just kind of gives you zones more than a line. And you see the zones kind of align with my more granular description. And your level was 6003 or 602, whatever your secret source was.
6,003.
Which happened to be where we closed yesterday.
And the upper guy was 646, 6046.
Which is below the 6050, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What wouldn't, I don't think it's going to happen, but wouldn't sometimes you see is you get like that late afternoon and we'll run up to 60, 50, 55 and then die and then close it, 60, 40 or 60, that my levels would hold. But,
okay, talking about late afternoon run-ups, let's front run the charm. No, I gotta redo it. Let's front run the charm a little bit and see what might happen. Go ahead.
Breaking news: the deltas just dropped a lot, and yeah, we had. Let's look at that. Yeah, all those puts are looking pretty good. We're 25. No, it looked like some. Let me share this.
I already shared your screen.
But I want to share the other one. Share this guy. Sorry. You see what happened? We had the deltas are starting to go down. We're having a little bit of volatility going up. We might be setting up for a little sell-off, but it's going to be.
Oh, and by the way, just about this same convex value layout that he uses, a guy that I trade with, and I don't mind. His name is Yamco. I think his Twitter handle is Yam. He has a service too. He's a buddy of mine. He uses he uses options depth and convex value too. He uses it on a longer time frame than my brother does. So he, rather than looking at the 30-second, whatever, he might look at a 15-minute or whatever, but uses the same idea for longer term scalps. And so the point I'm making is that there's value in this, whatever scalp time frame you're looking at, and looking back at this, you could see how the value for my brother's style worked out.
And again, today's been a really tough day. We're at 25. Do I see a setup? Again, I'm not seeing strong setups. It's like you're almost like forcing a trade just to show you guys something to do, but there's really nothing to be confident about. It would be gut trading, which doesn't usually work out that well. So right now we're sort of stuck here. It was great iron condor selling.
Yep, I've been telling people. All my scalper friends have been complaining that we can't get any movement, and I've been dancing in the streets.
Yeah, I mean it's so obvious to me. I just see it. Again, you see this. It's like we go up and then we go down, and it's just volatility isn't high enough. The deltas are sort of stuck. That 25 that 20 to 30 or 15 to 30 looks like a zone that we're really stuck in.
Now, this is iron condor season. What do I mean by that? Going into an options expiration, we tend to compress. Ranges tend to compress, especially coming out of what we just came out of. People have a little bit of PTSD for the 150-point moves, but this is to be expected. So I am a iron condor trader. That's 90% of my income of my money from trading. This is when I size up, trade more aggressively, maybe might leave them on a little longer. And there's not a strategy that always works at every time. So, like my brother said, on a day like today, it's not a great scalping day.
Right.
Into an options expiration, a big quarterly, the easy 3 to 5 to 8 point moves are not going to be as easy as they will be on July 2nd.
So I'm looking at the 60, 30 put. I'm going to put it up here. Data. Let me just.
And while he's getting the price for that, I just want to show you something on Charm. So if we look at Charm, we still have this supportive area, but if we can, it's about to get into this whole suppressive zone over here. We're about to get into this suppressive. Well, we still got somewhat supportive, not much though. This value is actually how many E-mini contracts the market makers have to buy and sell for 2.5 minutes, I think it is. So you see the value is 6, it's not a lot. Whereas you look at the value here, it's 69 contracts. There's different values of what they're going to have to buy or sell. So now you see, Trump tells us that it's just floating. We're in a supportive area here.
So, sorry about that.
Yeah, I agree. There's no movement. We're stuck like Chuck. Like he said, I wish we could give you a more exciting day. What's exciting about today is selling the iron condors and watching them melt. That's what's exciting.
But actually, that put I was looking at, the 60-30 put, wasn't a bad trade when I said to buy it. And I would say you could buy it right now. So let's buy it. 930. Buy. Okay, we just bought it at 930. And now it's 960.
So your 60.95 puts is 60.95, 60.59.70 is 50 cents. I might wait a little longer and do one. I'm going to throw one in now just for fun, see if I can get filled at 50 cents. Go ahead.
We just bought the 60-30 put for 960. Okay, so we're down 30 bucks. Let's see what happens.
They didn't fill me for the 50 cents. Now it's already 40 cents.
Now you could buy that same put for $9. Now $8.80. You see, every time, this is the kind of day.
What put are you looking at? The 30?
The 30. It's a 65.
So here's a chart of the 30 put right here. Oh, he's.
We blew it. Let me see what's going on here. Yeah, wrong entry. You know what? It's just not today's not a good. It's just not a good day. But
gun to my head trade today, I would take a call.
Today is a call buying day. I think you're right. It just is what it is. We're not getting those sharp reversals. We're not having volatility is dying. Do I have this? What do I have up now?
See, that put I didn't get filled on the put spread. I put it at 50 cents. So showing 50.55 is already 35 cents. I put it in here. We looked at it earlier when my brother first called out the levels. It was 55.60 cents. So you could have gotten out at 50% on that put in in 20 minutes.
Look what you're saying. You're saying you can't get any volatility. Vol is going up on the 5 minute. Can we get that reversal? I don't know. We're just not doing it. It's
We
not.
can get a 2 point reversal one way or the other, but for now, again, if we look at where we are, we bounced right where we're supposed to bounce.
Anyway, we bought that put for 960. We're losing money. Let's sit tight for a while because vol is going up. So we got it for 960. Let's try it out for 1020. Can we do that? It's got a 62 delta. Bricks is still going up. 880. $9. Okay. Oh, we're going down. Still $9. 920. Stalled at 890. Deltas just went up. Deltas are going up and volatility is going up. Very strange thing. Deltas are beginning to drop. Deltas are still up. Yeah, today is the kind of day you want to tear your hair out of your skin. Bottom line. It's iron condor selling day, 100%. So at 25, we're in that inflection zone. Are we going to drop to 20 or are we going to go all the way up to 30 again? Your bet is as good as mine.
I think my bet is better than most. Let me see what I could tell you. Let me see if I have a. No, you see, we're right in this. Oh, interesting here. Okay, so let me do it where you can maybe see it a little better. Actually, go ahead, talk. I'm going to set something up.
No, I'm just saying it's like a day that you can tear your hair
No,
out.
I'm wanting you to fill the airtime while I get my chart set up.
Well, what should I fill? I'll fill the airtime with telling you that if you subscribe,
There you go, a commercial.
subscribe to my Substack, eventually Doc and I are going to have a combined Substack called Options Geld, and you're going to get Paul's levels and his gamma analysis, my scalps and my credit spread scalps, everything is going to be great. And as we develop more tools, I have a few things that I have in the works, and Doc has a few things he has in the works. I really think it's going to be valuable because you're dealing with real traders that are putting their own money up on the line. We're not hyping software. We're not selling you a pie in the sky.
I'm not selling you a course either. You want to buy a course? I'll sell you a course. Give me $1,000.
Right. We're going to tell you how we trade. I mean, Paul has been trading for. Well, let me give you the background in case.
Oh yeah. Tell the story.
So I'm 7 years older than Doc. I'm an old man. He's a young old man. And my first trade was in 1970. My first stock purchase was in 1977. I'm a retired physician, and there was a company called Forest Pharmaceuticals.
I remember.
We were trading at $28 a share, and my subspecialty was allergy, and I knew that they were coming up for the FDA for a new antihistamine decongestant, and I thought the likelihood of it getting approved was very, very high based on some studies I read. So I bought 100 shares or 500 shares, I really don't remember, of the stock at $28. A week later, it got approved. It hit 30, it got up to 35. I sold it at 35. I said, this is a joke. This is the easiest thing to do. And I've been hooked ever since then.
Now tell them about that. Tell them about Dad in the store and our background with that. I've told the story. Go ahead. You can tell your version.
So our father was very interested in the stock market, and he was a guy that really was very, risk did not bother him. He actually was I don't know if he ever met Lord Rothschild, but he definitely believed that you buy when there's blood on the streets. And when the market would go down or the stock would get crashed, he would call his broker on the rotary phone and he'd say, Boeing, how much is Boeing today? That's Boeing. He had an accent. And he would say, buy me 500 pieces, you know? And then if it went down somewhere, he'd say, buy me another 500 pieces. So we got used to buying when stocks were down, and he had an expression which translates into English: a tree doesn't grow to the sky, and a hernia doesn't. You don't have a hernia that's so big that it hits the ground. So look at that. That worked out, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That put is now $9.90. The one we bought for $9.60 is now $10. You see? Now it's $10.10. Now it's $10.20, $10.30. Okay, we're at 22. You see it happened. So now I get ready to sell that $10.40 for that put. You see, if you held on to that put, and the 35s are over on $13.60. Yeah, it happens. Anyway, I'm going to let Paul, I'm going to sign off for the day. It's been a pleasure. I hope you guys enjoyed some of our trades, which there weren't too many, and iron condors, credit spreads. And hopefully we'll be back. I'll be back one day this week with Doc. And Doc, are you going to stay on?
Yeah, I'm going to stay on, and I'm younger, so I got more stamina. And you guys know me, if you know me from Twitter or whatever. I'm often out there at 5, 6, 7 a.m. tweeting, whatever. I'm trying to hone in the time I do my daily plan in the morning. 8:15, just depends on when I get everything written up. When I feed the goats, yes, I have goats. That's a whole another story. Um, I'll stick around for a while. Then I'm going to grab some lunch. And just FYI, that 59.95 put that I had in there for 50 cents just got filled on that downwash. I put it in at 25 cents buy to close for now. I don't see any need for corrective action right now. Because people ask me sometimes, what do I do? So, Bart, I'm going to let you go.
But I'm going to also tell you that 45.70 call spread that we talked about before, for 80 cents is now 30 cents. So, there's always opportunity. Right now, I agree with Doc. We're at 21. I would be looking at the 95s. The 95s, you could probably actually, let's see what that is before I leave. The 95s sell vertical.
55 cents. 55 cents for a 25 wide.
A 30
60, 80, a 30 wide is a lot of money. 30 wide was $1.15.
Wow. Okay, that's the. Okay, so we're going down. Okay, fine. And look, let me just share my screen before I leave because we just got the signal. Hold on. Share screen. Present. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Look at it. There it is. Look at that volatility spike and the deltas drop. We're now in put buying territory. Okay? It was going to happen sooner or later. Remember how we're in this regime we were all the way up here in we were all the way up here in deltas, and vol was all the way down there. Guess what? It just reversed. Deltas are all the way down here, and volatility is all the way up there. We dropped to 13. You see, it can happen, ladies and gentlemen. Don't give up on those puts. I said before 2 or 230, keep hope alive.
Okay, I want to show people something. So what I was going to show people was the management thing. When the 59, 55 puts, 95 puts started, when the puts started looking bad, I quickly bought a 6,595 debit spread, turning it into a broken wing fly. So now, if we go all the way down here, that's my max profit. Is if we break 6,000. If we go to 59.95, that's my max profit. I got 50 cents credit for the put spread. The debit spread cost me around 60 cents. So my cost in this trade is 10 cents. My cost in this fly is 10 cents. And I start losing money at 59.90, 85, something like that. So people have asked me on how I manage these trades. And if we would have turned around fast, which we might, I can then sell something in here, close out the debit spread portion, do a lot of different things to manage it. I might add something here inside the guts for 55 cents. Looks like we're okay. I'm going to add something in there. Create opposite. 25 cents. Still have this blocker over here, the debit spread. Now let's take a look at, and you see there's nothing going on here. There's nothing going on. We're between these levels unless this is stuck. It doesn't look like it is, or it might be stuck. Okay, yeah. So we're on this path down here. We're stuck. We're on this path down here toward, we got this supportive stuff over here at 05. We got some supportive gamma right here. So that's it. Looks like the bears party is over. And where'd we open today? We opened at 60.10-ish. Where'd we close yesterday? 60.03. Vol compression day, realized vol has been like 8%, has been basically nothing. Expected move was 32.28, something like that. And we can end up with a 5 or 10 point move day at the end of the day. And again, like somebody commented, I'm just trying to kind of go through the thought process, real time, how I might do this. Not investment advice, as they say. This is just how I trade, and I'd like to make this a discussion. I'd like to make this a community. Other people, have other methods that they do great on. So here's where we are right now, locked in this negative charm mess. And the thing is, do we poke our heads out over here? Or do we poke our heads out over here? Or somehow poke our heads out up here? Going into a CPI now, you'd think that people might want to pick up some hedges. I don't know. And that's kind of what's going on there. I hope you guys can see this and understand what's going on here. Now, remember when we were way up wherever we were, we talked about buying flies centered here, centered here. So when we were up here, this fly, I didn't price it out. Even for a 10 wide, 15 wide, it would have been 20, 30 cents. And this fly right now, if you wanted to get out of it, I don't know, the price would probably be $1.10. If we land over there, it would be like $5, $8 for, $5, depending how wide you do them. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream now too, unless there's other questions, comments, or whatever it is. I'll see if I can get back at 3, or if not 3:30 for a thrilling power hour presentation. Maybe I can get some of my trading buddies on stage to talk. If I can get Binkus back on stage, we'll get him back on there. I threw the links wherever I threw the links. If you want to subscribe, great. If not, I'll be here regardless. And that's it. Let me just do a last look here. Let's go to the dashboard again. And then we'll go to the mental Q charts, the regular trading view charts, and we'll see where we are. So it looks like we're kind of in this supportive area here. Here's the 6,000. Yeah, we're fine. We're out of the call zone. So here's the market maker positions. So now's the time of day where I want to look at gamma. Why? Because as time is ticking away, the gamma, the value of these positions is going to decay a lot, where you're going to see big bars are going to become small bars. See what a big bar that is? Is 6,100. Okay, so now the big bars go away. Here's the gamma. Potential magnet up. Should we start moving, we could easily end up here, get stuck here. That was one of those fly zones right here. Got another fly looking thing right here. So that's another area. Got all this support. And just for fun, let's try one more thing. This is kind of what I do all day on my own. Specific. Let's look at what's going on for tomorrow. And there's a feature where I can see what the flow was today, what was bought or sold since, say, the morning. But while that's cute and that's fun, whatever, I don't care why they did them. I just care what's in the dealer's hand right now. What's in the dealer's hand for tomorrow? And that's going to populate in a minute. Did that just populate? Doesn't look like it did. Hold on. No. Apply. Come on. There we go. So here's what's in the dealer's hand for tomorrow. Basically nothing. What's in the dealer's hand for tomorrow? You got these long 59.50. This is short calls. So it's market maker. Oh, at 21,000 short puts. I'm curious we'll look in a minute what the regular position is. But regardless of what the position is, market makers are short gamma at 59.50. So that's 75 points. That's a hedge of some sort. Now that's customers sold that. So what often happens, as Valsigs was explaining, is institutions will be selling the vol for the CPI day, the 59.50, whatever, and buying a calendar for another day, keeping their deltas flat or their veg or whatever. So this is not necessarily a bet or a hedge that we go there, but that is the potential magnet. So for tomorrow, if all things being equal, if we're right here, let's pretend. If we break 6,000, Then path opens. Path opens. You see a pretty open path towards 59.75, but we stall before that. Remember, they start buying as we get close. If this breaks, path here. To the top side, there's nothing really stopping us in either direction, on the top side until we get up to 75. So the 50, there's not much going on. So the air is kind of open if you want to place a trade for tomorrow. Let's look at what's going on for Friday. This is Friday. Let's look at Friday, and we're not going to look at gamma. I'm going to look at position number. Now, I hope you guys, this is not too in the gamma weeds for the average normal human. There we go. So for Friday, what do we got? 6,100. Market makers are short, so there's lots of calls up there at 6,100 for Friday. The CPI Lotto. 60.50 is sold. It's sold, so market makers are long that. For Friday, 59.50 is sold. So a put below here, below 59.90, even better for Friday. I'm not going to do that because event day, I just don't trade that. Anyway, any last questions or comments before Power will be great together? Okay, Ellie, I'm going to make sure to get back. If not for 6 o'clock power, 3 o'clock power hour, 3:30 at least. 3:30 at least. I'm going to say I'm not the best pinner. I'm okay. I give myself a gentleman's B, but I know some guys I trade alongside of that just have that knack. I'm better at picking the pin earlier in the, like we did before, buying the fly, heading toward it, and getting out. I've given up a lot of $350, $400 profits on flies that I bought at $1.10 and get out at $1.75. That's okay, but that's just kind of my style. Okay, I'm going to end the stream now. Thanks everybody on Twitter, on YouTube. Comments, please, what you would like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of. Concerns, criticism, constructive or destructive, I'm thin-skinned, whatever it is. Okay, everybody, thanks a lot. Have a great day.